So first, let's start with the center of his bow tie, which is kind of a silvery gray. Yep, I like this gray. So I'm going to do the center of his bow tie real quick. We really just have to finish his bow tie and the background colors. So we might actually have time to work on Dexter today, our bonus cat that I started a few weeks ago. I always keep him in reserve for if we have extra time in our hour. Okay, there's that. Center of the bow tie done. Put this one back. Okay. Looking at his bow tie. It's blue up here, and I already went and found the colors I need for his bow tie. So I figured that would just help save time. It goes to about there. And then it's also up here in the top. Fit the... Oh, are you Vinny's person? J-Manji. Oh, is that like Jumanji, but it's J-Manji or J-Manji? I like that. Nice. Well, welcome to join us. So as you can see, we got a lot of Vinny done last time. So we're just going to be doing, unless you want me to do something different in the background, because in the background of the original picture, you have the trans flag colors. So unless you want me to do something different in the background, I was just going to stick with that. And then just so you're aware, Jumanji, for your Vinny picture, I am going to shoot. I was supposed to do that today and I still didn't. I'm going to be renting a gallery space here where I live to have an art show of the cats of social media. So Vinny will be one of the cats displayed. However, if you wish to, all the people who like own the cats I'm drawing, any person who wishes to purchase their cat's portrait, you get first dibs. I will post that. I will message you guys to let you know when that's an option. And then the show will run probably for 2 weeks max. That's probably the most I'll be able to afford to rent the gallery space. And then anybody who's purchased their cat will be marked as not for sale during the show. And then I'll mail it to you. And then anybody else who doesn't call dibs on their cat will be for sale in the show. So just so you know. All right, the pink starts here and follows along till here. I might have to flip them upside down because I realize if I lay my hand like this to do the other side, I'm going to get blue ink and smear it. So yes, Vinny will be in the art show. And then I will have an option if you wish to purchase him. You'll get a dot. Hello, Maddie. Are you talking about LEC if Jay will get the portrait? Yes, anybody who I did their cat, I'm offering them up first dibs on purchasing their cat because I don't want to just like sell their cat if they like, I want my cat's portrait. I've already had a few people message me saying they call dibs, which, you know, I understand that. I would want my cat's portrait. Hello, Maddie. All right, and then this part is gray, but I'm going to get my very, very light gray because there's just a wee bit of a shadow that follows along here. Like that. Perfect. I mean, I could print copies of Vinny, make copies of Vinny, and then sell. I mean, those would be really cheap because the original would cost more. Usually I sell my originals for $20 to $50 depending on how big. This is a $20 size. The copies, the prints would just be like $5 because it doesn't cost me as much to have a copy printed. And then it would be on like photograph paper like this. Like photograph is what it usually feels like. Because I've had some made, okay, now we need to turn them upside down so I don't get the blue ink. Ooh, that's a good idea. Sit with, oh, now Vinny's, but now I have to look at his bow tie upside down. Well, I've just challenged myself. Hold on, maybe I'll map it out first without getting the ink on my hands. All right, so the blue follows this top line here. And then it comes under here. Yep, and then it follows this line here. Okay. I mean, everybody has their strengths. If everybody was an artist, there'd be no music. There'd be no like architecture there, because I mean, artists can design a building, but we don't generally build the building. There'd be no sports. There'd be no teachers. You know, everybody has to like pull weight in society. I make pictures and I teach kids how to make pictures. So, you know, because like I learned how to play instruments and I can play as part of a group, but could I ever compose music or do any of that for people? No, it was just kind of like for my church, we had a bell choir or band in school. But that was never my gift, you know? And I love music and I love audiobooks, but I don't know if I'd be able to read a book out loud. Sometimes the words get all, you know? And though I am trying to write and illustrate a book to publish, I would love to have a children's book I publish with my pointillism. It's called Katie Did the Magical. If any of you follow me or one nerdy guy on Blue Sky or Twitter, you'll know I illustrated his book, Dandy the Brave, which I have a video of that, me reading it out loud, Dandy the Brave. I don't know if he'll ever get it published. Maybe if I get Katie Did the Magical published, then he and I can help him work through how to get Dandy published. Now, see, I like fiber arts too. I like crocheting. Knitting, not so much, but a lot of things I crochet, I make multiples of. I get a pattern that's not too complicated. I make another one. It's more of an anxiety-driven thing than, I mean, I have made some artworks. I've made costumes for cosplay. My best one was I made a dress to make me look like, an outfit to make me look like the TARDIS from Doctor Who, you know, the blue police box. Got second place for that one. But man, and I've made a Skitty costume, the Pokemon Skitty. But those took a year each. And, oh, it's still right here. Ha ha ha. I still have. So, you know, we just all have to do what we can to make society a beautiful place. Oh, I do have some more kitty blankets that I've been meaning to, what was I going to do? Oh, this one. Post on my Etsy. I just happened to find when I was cleaning out. I got Katie to kind of model them, but my blankets don't really sell, so I'm not really going to be making more of those. Like, they're high-ticket items. I understand they're expensive. People might not want to pay that much, but it takes me months to make them, a ton of yarn. And plus, when they sell, then I can usually afford Katie's meds for several months. Or it helps get me to pay for her, because every 6 months, twice a year, she has to go to see a specialist to keep her meds. And it's usually $400 to $500 every 6 months for her visit, depending on what all they're going to do. So if a blanket sells, sometimes I either set that aside to stock up on her meds, or I set it aside to pay for the next neurology visit. She has one coming up in less than a month. But thankfully, with the sale I ran, I do believe with the latest orders I got this week, we might have just enough to cover the vet cost. If we get a few more sales between now and the visit, that'll be enough to get her a couple refills of her meds, so I'll set that aside. I actually have an extra checking account with a little like debit card I tell them it's my cat's card. It was Sammy's when he was diabetic. I would use, that's where all the Etsy money would go to that account. And so he would pay for his own, with his card, his own insulin. Now I use it to buy the pills and sometimes refill Echo's special wet food. Yeah. I mean, I really only have an Etsy because, well, one, it helps pay for the special needs cats I like to adopt. And like I said, with my anxiety, I tend to crochet something over and over and over and over and over until I have like 600 of them. I don't need 600 pickles or 600 steaks or 400 blankets. So they need somewhere to go. Because I mean, I buy the yarn with my own money. I don't use Kated's money to replenish, even though that would kind of make sense for her account to supply the supplies that were making sure I don't need to go. Do I have this even? I'm kind of thinking it's not even. I thought I used a ruler. Hold on. Do I like that? I think we need to go down a little lower. Just a titch. Sorry, I'm being a stickler. And I've had a lot of people say they wish I was their art teacher. Honestly, one of the things I'm blessed with is I work in a district that has a beefy curriculum. It's not just me showing up once a week or once a month to do some little craft and with no. Even my kindergartners, like they start off with just simple, like, how do we make orange, green, and purple? What are hot? What is cold? What is line? Then we start getting to like Kandinsky and stuff. And some projects, like once they get to first grade, projects take 2 weeks. Once they get to third grade, projects usually take 4 weeks. There's a lot of history involved, a lot of fine art and skill building. I don't believe in doing little crafts. I don't. And my supervisor has specifically told me that we art teachers are not to be doing holiday theme. Like, we're not supposed to be making jack-o'-lanterns for Halloween. We're not supposed to be making Santas and Christmas trees. No, that's not fine art, and that's not art history. And we're not supposed to be making decorations for the music concert. The concert is the music department's curriculum. The music department needs to figure out how to decorate for their own concert. Now, there have been times where, speaking of holidays, they're like, we don't have enough decorations. And it was like a low failing school. So I'm like, they didn't have time to spend on extras. Sorry, the bell is Kate. It has zoomies and she's zooming all around my feet. So I'm like, okay, we can look at how candles are used by various cultures in December. Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas, how it's used in Mexico versus Germany versus France versus the US. And then I gave them a long rectangle paper and they got to like glue a little flame on it. And I told them, if your family just does like Santa, decorate it with Santa. If your family is Christian and you want to put like a baby Jesus and a cross, go ahead. If your family is Jewish and you want to make it a little, oh shoot, I forgot the name. What's the name of the candle with the 9 flames? Menorah. I wasn't really apologizing for her. She's the little lady of the house. I just want to let you guys know there's a bunch of jangling in the background. You're like, why is that? What is that noise? So that's the only way I do like a holiday is if we compare it to multiculturals. And second grade, their whole curriculum is multicultural art. How art starts in one place and then spreads around the world. And they accepted those candles as a decoration. Otherwise, I tell the music teacher, if you tell me early on, by like mid-September latest, what your theme is it peace? Is it snow? Is it happy day of winter? I can usually find some project in one of my 6 curriculums, K through 5, that matches your theme, and then we can use their artwork for your decorations. But I'm going to be teaching my curriculum, and you take it or you leave it. That's that. And my supervisor totally will back me up. If the principal's like, you need to, I'll be like, you can go talk to Miss Fisher. And she won't go talk to Miss Fisher because she knows Miss Fisher's going to be on my side. So, because we are a art department, not a craft, time filler, babysitter department. We don't just babysit the kids with glitter and glue stick and provide, we're not just plan time givers. We are teachers. We teach them how to communicate in a visual way, to express themselves in a nonverbal way, and to explore history and social issues through visual images. Sorry, I'm kind of on the soapbox right now. I guess I realize that. But that's my job. But how is everybody else's day going? Don't want to just like be the only one dictating conversation. Has anybody else got anything on something going on this week? I mean, I know July 4th is this Saturday. I don't know if anybody's doing anything for that. I don't think I am. I mean, we might have like a dinner at my parents' house. But my brother and his fiance just got back from their honeymoon. I think they got back yesterday or today. They were in Hawaii for a couple weeks. So I don't really know if they're going to be up to doing anything, which I'm okay with. I don't really like all the smoke and sound of fireworks, and I don't like how late it goes, because I usually go to bed at 6 or 7, maybe 8:30 latest. But then I get up super early. So I don't like being up that late, and I always worry about my cats, even though they never seem to be too bothered. Ooh. Yeah, it's really hot. If you're in like Kansas City, I know there's different Kansas cities. I'm just a bit north of you, and it is hot. I didn't let Echo out in his catio at all today, and he was not happy. And yesterday I decided I'm still not going to drive my car. I don't want to be weak. I'm still going to ride my bike. And biked to my dad's house, helped him rebuild his fence. A section of it was built badly and it rotted out and like was falling over. So he didn't want his pugs escaping. And then I biked home, cooled off, ate some snacks, and then went to my school. I almost said my school's name, to feed my class pet. She's still at my school. And then I was going to bike from there to my study group. And on the way to the study group, thankfully I was like, the school's here. I was in the neighborhood because I cut through the neighborhood, main road, her house. I was in the neighborhood behind my school. And my bike bucked off the rack that holds my saddlebag, and things fell off the tire. Then the back tire locked up. Izotza was like, I am on strike. We are at 17 and a half miles. That's what the total we were at for the day. In this heat. I don't like the heat. And he was done. So my bike's name is Izotza. He's a boy. Thankfully a gilder. Dang it. A mom from my school spotted us and came out with water bottle, popsicle, loaded us into her car, drove me home. The max is labeled 11 plus. Oh, the UV index. Okay. Ooh, graphic design teacher. I once subbed for the like digital graphic design teacher at a high school. And I didn't mind it, but I'm not very tech savvy. Fun fact. When I did sub, and this would have been 11, 12 or 13 years ago. We were doing a project where you took a drawing and like took the color out and then filled it with text. And it could be random text or typed text. So I had a picture of my cat, Mindy, kind of in this pose. And she's got a crocheted collar with like pink and roses. And then I think I typed up like how much I loved her and stuff like that. And then put the text in like pinks and magentas. And then somehow somebody in that class, those kids were so tech savvy, and those high schoolers, showed me how to set it as my like profile picture, avatar picture for Outlook. Because we use Outlook in my district, Microsoft Outlook. And so that was my profile picture, was my cat with pink text, posing, kind of like Vinny. Well, so they have since locked the profile picture. So when you get hired, they post like a picture of you they take for your badge. And then you're stuck with that picture forever. So even if you age, your picture will never age. Well, that means my picture is now locked as Mindy. Everybody else has either just their initials. TV intro you never skip. Sorry, they wanted me to add a sticker. I don't really do the stickers. Or it's a picture of them when they first were hired. Whereas I'm the only one with a cat. And I never changed it because I don't know how. The students basically inputted it for me, and I don't really understand how that happened. But okay, the sticker was TV show intro you never skip. I really like the bum, 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 ba-da-da-da from Amazing Race. And it's not very long. I like the Survivor one. What other TV show intro do I like? Oh, AFV. I like America's Funniest Home Videos. I don't fast forward through that intro. I always fast forward through Big Brother's one. That one annoys me. I don't know why. Yeah, because didn't they got rid of the Survivor intro? And the previously on Survivor. Now they like go right into the episode. Kind of wish the previously was before, like intro or previously intro or vice versa, whatever, and then the episode, but whatever. I'm glad because in season 1, after like every transition, wong, really annoying, like gongy sound. It was so annoying. So glad they didn't bring that back for any other season. BB28. Yes, that's coming up soon. Honestly, I mostly watch Big Brother because there's not much happening this summer, and my parents really like it. Mostly my mom, I think. So it gives us something to talk about, because with her issues, we don't always have things to talk about. So it's kind of like a safe topic. We can talk about Big Brother and Survivor and Traitors. She watches Traitors. What else do we both watch? I think that's the extent of what we both watch. We watch a lot of like murder mystery documentaries. Sometimes we'll talk about the 2020s. But that's like a safe topic that doesn't involve family or alcohol or past traumas. I like Survivor way better. Big Brother is very interesting when there's a lot of people. But once it gets down to just like 6 people, I don't think it's very interesting. Like nothing's happening. They're all just sitting there. Whereas Survivor, the fewer people there are, the more exciting it gets because they're all paranoid and backstabbing and scrambling and side alliances and blindsiding each other. I like Survivor better. Let's see. Really cool kawaii style for portrait that a former student commissioned of me. Aww. Yeah, my mom, she's gone to a therapist, but she's like, they don't help me with anything. All they want to do is talk about stuff. And I'm like, Mom, that's how you fix things. You talk about it and how it made you feel, and you process it with somebody in a safe space. And then you talk about coping techniques you can use when those big feelings come. Instead, she just drinks a lot of alcohol and goes on binges. And then because all she does is drink and she doesn't eat, then her body gets all weak and dehydrated, and then she has a bunch of diarrhea. And she's like, oh my gosh, my C. diff is back. No, it's because you're not getting nutrients. You're not dying. Oh, Rob C. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Yeah, he was on Survivor and Traitors. I like Boston Rob is the better Rob in my opinion, but I do like Rob C. Rob C's like a cute little dorky Rob, whereas Boston Rob is like gangster mobster, like Godfather Rob. I'm doing pretty good today. How about you, Gus Thornton? Today's been a pretty chill day. My mom was supposed to come over with her pugs and have a lunch date with us. I was going to cook chicken and rice. But she texted and said she didn't sleep good and she was going to go back to bed. Yesterday when I was over there helping my dad rebuild the fence, I don't know if she was just sleep deprived or if she was drunk. It was one or the other. So it could be either she's just sleep deprived or she's in one of her moods, her big feelings. So I mostly just crocheted and napped and watched season 3 of Traitors Canada. Your cat likes Boston Rob. That's funny. I mean, I'll admit, when you see his seasons where he's younger, he's a good looking man. And even now, like, okay, he's like dad bod. You know, he's older. He's, you know, more of a dad type. He's still, you know, man, when he solves puzzles, man, he's wicked on puzzles. Um, do you listen to Rob has, I did watch, I think it was more of a visual, but I think they did have an audio of Boston Rob and Bob the drag queen had a podcast about the latest Traders season where they were going over like their outfits and their moves they pulled, the Traders versus the Faithfuls, and what they thought of Alan's twists and the challenge. And that was cool. I didn't know, what podcast does Rob have, Boston Rob? Is it about, Rob C has a podcast. His is about Survivor, isn't it? I always said one day I would be on Survivor, but I think I'm at the point where in my life where I would love to be on Survivor, don't get me wrong. But I think I'm at the point in my life where I don't really want to go anywhere and do anything and be gone from my cats and I don't really care about the comfy home thing. It's more I'd worry about my cats. That and medically, I don't know if I'd be cleared to do Survivor anymore. Like, I'm not old, but... Hi, Echo. You coming to visit us? Hold on, I gotta boop his nose real quick. Hi, mister. So this is Vinny, the cat. And in his original photo, here I'll show you, that I'm basing it off of, he does have a bow tie and background, the trans flag colors. So that's what I'm going with. I'm just going straight from the photograph. I do believe him and his person are a big advocate for trans rights, which, I mean, people are people. I don't understand why people have to find things to be angry about. Like, what do you care what they're doing in their private time or what's in their underwear? Like, as long as they're a good person, they're good to animals, they're good to children, they contribute to society, pay their taxes, have a job, whatever. Why do you care? See, Jay Manji is Vinny's person. And they answered you. But yeah, honestly, if you're just a good person to people and animals and to society, like, you do you. Just be kind. And don't be a drain on society. Contribute in some way that you can. Because everybody can contribute in some way. I agree. I had a friend when I was, back when I was in high school and college. The job that helped me pay my way through college was I was a bagger at a grocery store on a military base. My friend Nick, he was trans. And he was really cool. I miss him. I wonder how he's doing. He ended up going to a college in a different state, so his family life was not okay. So as soon as he could, he moved to a different state for college, and I think really thrived. But then, college life, you get busy, and we never really stayed in contact. Oh, hello, you're back, 007. I don't think Lola will be joining us today because she did say that on Tuesday she had to go to bed early. But I didn't want to wait till Wednesday to finish Vinny. I will have to leave right, though, at 6 o'clock. Do we have? Yes, it is 5:24 for me. At 6 o'clock, Katie needs her food and her pills for her seizure control. And then I actually scored a free ticket to go see Wicked tonight. The union managed to snag some tickets and we're giving them out to teachers for free. And I was on the wait list initially because I wasn't fast enough to respond. But then some people backed out. So I get to go on a date with myself tonight Echo, you're going to be in charge of you and Sissy, okay? Oh, he says, darn it, you're leaving me alone to babysit again. And yes, I love my union. Fun story. So, what was it? 2 or 3 years ago, this para was walking her class back from music. They had been to music that day. Music was down the hall. So I'm like, my school's like a T, and I'm right at the top of the T, and music was down here that year. Now music is right across the hall from me. So she's trying to go around the corner. Well, one little girl was mad because she couldn't be the line leader. And she was the type where at home, everything was her way. She was princess. Nobody was allowed to touch her, look at her, breathe on her, discipline her, whatever. And they also didn't want her to have any male teachers. So I'm like, so how does she go to PE? They're like, well, for right now, she doesn't go to PE because it's a guy teacher. Really? Oh, I'm finishing Vinny and telling a story about my union. So she was trying to walk the class, and I honestly didn't know all this about this kid's parents because I'm just the art teacher. I only see the kid once a week for 50 minutes. Kindergarten's chaotic, so I didn't know this. Well, she wouldn't get in line. The class was being held up. In that class, there were also a couple very special ed kids, which bless their heart, they're very sweet, but gen ed is not the place for every single person. Most people, yes, but some people, they need what they need, we can't give them in a crowded gen ed room. But whatever, that's a different story. And so I just guided the girl back into, yes, I used my hands. I guided her back to in line, not the front of the line, whatever. She didn't need to be in the front of the line. And I patted her on the back or rubbed her back, whatever, and said, there you go, sweetie. Now off back to class with you. You're going to have center time because I always have centers after specials. I don't know what she said when she got back to class. But instead of like asking the para what happened, asking me what happened, looking at the camera, because at my T, there's a camera right there, recorded the whole incident. Instead of, I don't know, she just took the 5-year-old's word for it, told that word story to the parents who are overly helicopter parents. Well, then I got called down to the office the next day by the assistant principal and said, yes, she had seen the video. No, she didn't really think it was much of an issue, but the parents were mad. They wanted to call the cops and have me removed from the school and press charges and have my license taken away. Because I guided their child back in line, rubbed her on the back, and didn't let her be line leader. So I wrote down what happened because everybody had to write down a statement. And then HR called and wanted to have a meeting. And I'm like, aha, we can have a meeting when I have a union rep with me. So I called my union. And he sat with me in the teacher administrative center. We call it TAC. And they played the video. And my union rep looked at me, looked at the HR guy and goes, this is why we're here? Really? Because she put a child back in line and rubbed her back and said, good job, go back to class? Really? So I have a note in my record that is not visible to administration or principal. That's only there, but only like my union, HR, and I know about it, I guess, is what they said. That I was coached on how to properly guide a child back into line without touching them at all. So yeah. That's why I tell all of my student teachers that story. I'm like, you never know when a parent's going to decide to be a butt hat, and you need union rep on your side. Because I wouldn't have really known what to do in that situation. Yep, Weingarten writes. Yep, my dad told me about, because my principal is very much not into people being in the union. She tries to actively discourage it passive-aggressively. So everybody who I knew was in the union, or I just was like, you really should be in the union, I printed out little Weingarten Wright cards, and I just came into the room and said, I was never here, and slid that card to them and walked out. Yeah, it turns out I was like the 7th or 10th teacher at that school that they'd gone after and threatened to like have their license removed and call the cops and press charges. So she's going to be in second grade this year. She's still at our school, which why they still have her at our school, I don't know. If they'll hate us all, why do you want your child with us? I tend to stay on the opposite side of the classroom as her and try not to engage with her much unless I absolutely have to. But what parents don't realize is they think they're protecting her. What they're doing is preventing any adult at that school from building a meaningful relationship with their child. And it is proven that kids will behave better, academically do better, want to come to school and have better attendance if there's someone in the school they trust and like. Like, it doesn't have to be like, I'm your big sister, I'm your mother. No, they just, like, they like me and I like them. Like, they feel safe. And she's never going to have a relationship like that with any teacher because we all warn the next teacher that has her, like, look, this is what you're inheriting, parent-wise. And so she's never going to have that meaningful relationship, which is just a disservice to their kid. And she's very bright. I don't worry about her academically. But still. And what happens if another student does something inadvertently because they're kids? They're going to be second graders. Second graders are really dumb. They're not little, but they're not bigs. So they just do really weird things like a kindergartner would do, but they've got a little bit bigger bodies because they don't realize they're not littles anymore, but they're not bigs. Like, what are they going to do, like, with any friends she makes? Or heaven forbid, when she has a boyfriend, is he just going to, like, shoot him? If he, like, holds her hand for a second too long? Like, we're going to need to look up in the backyard and dig some holes? Yeah. So, like, they either need to just, like, homeschool the child or I don't know. I would kind of fear for her if she was homeschooled, though. If there were, like, no other influences to teach her, like, that's not normal. And she is quite spoiled. But I've met a lot of different types of parents at I've worked at 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 different schools in my 10 years. Because being art, we're often shuffled like puzzle pieces. Because one school, maybe, I think she is an only child, yes. Some years, because of population, they'll need 4 days for their art teacher. And the next year, well, maybe they only need 3 days. Well, so usually every 2 or 3 years, my supervisor goes, guess what? Change is good for our lives. You're going to be teaching at X school now. Well, what would be better would be to stay at one place and build consistent routines and procedures and build relationships. But, whatever, change is good in our lives. Because the longer you're at a school as a specialist, you grow those kindergartners up to bigs and you, like, raise them. At my one school I've been there for, this will be my 11th year. So unless they've transferred in from somewhere else, I am the only art teacher they know. My procedures and routines are how we do art. They don't know of another way to do art. And I get to watch them from, please don't eat the paint, to, hey, you're a fine artist. You really could make a career out of this. Or, bless your heart, I know you love art, but you should be a musician. You're really good at that trumpet. Don't ever stop drawing, but keep going with that trumpet or that math. And I can watch them grow from maybe being EL with no language to, hey, we can have a conversation. This is so cool. Or, they struggle with reading, and I can work with that in some of my art projects and watch them really bloom into readers. Yeah, and I basically, from kindergarten through 5th grade, I see them the same amount of time as a classroom teacher does in 1 year. But the difference is I take 6 years to achieve that. Because if I see them K through 5 all the way, I'm with them once a week for 50 minutes for 6 years. So, yeah, cool. I only have to see them for once a week. And then I've got 6 more days to refill my love bucket and deal with the child again. But I have to do that for 6 years. Like, I don't get to just pass them on like classroom teachers do. But I don't have to be with them all day, every day. So maybe 6 years is easier. And sometimes as they grow, they get a little less or more obnoxious. Just depends on the child. I was AFK. I'm not sure what AFK means. But I forgive you for whatever it is you think you have wronged me with. So yeah, the amount of hours a classroom teacher sees them over 1 school year is what I see them over 6 years. And that's not counting if, like, I have them for after-school art club, or if I do extra duties with them, or they hang out during my plan time and help me do stuff in the classroom, like away from keyboard. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm not at a keyboard either. Well, I mean, I kind of do have a keyboard. My kids are always like, I love your keyboard. Did you draw that picture? No, child. It's a stick-on from Amazon. Same with what's on the back. Elementary kids. They're so easy to fool. Okay, another fun story. So with kindergarten, you know, give them scissors, right? And you want them not to cut their clothing and to not cut their hair. It's always a temptation to cut someone's hair. And I always tell them, you know, there's a difference between hair scissors and paper scissors. When you go to get your hair cut, the hair person uses hair scissors. Those don't work on paper. And paper scissors are not good for hair, because I'm bald. So I tell them, do you want to know why I don't have any hair and why my hair never comes back? Why, they ask me. And then I take the scissors and I put them up against my head, and I'm like, because when I was little, I cut my hair with paper scissors, and now my hair will never come back. It's gone forever. You don't want to be bald forever like me, do you? The look of horror that passes their face as they realize, if I cut my hair with school scissors, my hair will be gone forever? The parents always have to turn around and like stifle a laugh because they know it's a bold-faced lie, but it works. I don't know, that just came up with me on the fly, and my student teacher had to just like walk out of the room because they're about to like bust out laughing and give it away. Because I do it with a very serious deadpan, like, I don't have any hair and it's gone forever. Boy, I can tell a lie to the child real easy if I need to. I got all kinds of stories like that for kindergarten. Just like I tell them the red paint stain on my story rug is actually blood from when a kid was tipping their chair and fell over and hit their head on the edge of the table and cracked open his brain, and his brain blood got all over my carpet. And look, there's a stain. Do you want your brain blood on my carpet? Boy, that stops a child from tipping their chair. I only pull out that gun if they won't stop after me giving them reminders and warnings and proper procedures. And I'm like, all right, we're going to talk about blood now. Yeah, we only had one kid after that story attempt to cut her hair, but to be fair, she is very autistic. Sweet girl. Can't ever stay in her chair. She was making great progress, though, at the end of the year, so I was really proud of her for that. But, we caught her in time, because then the kids were like, Miss, there's her hair! I only scare them if proper measures don't work. And when they get older to like the 4th and 5th grade, they know by then that no, the scissors at school don't permanently make you bald. And no, that's actually paint. That's not, I clue them in when they're older, but then they think it's funny. And I tell them, don't tell the littles, your little siblings, because we want them to behave, right? To be amazing students like you. And they're like, yeah, miss, this is fun. So I do clue them in. And I tell them the real story of how the red paint got on my carpet. And I tell them, no, the scissors didn't make me bald. I shave my head every morning with a regular razor. I tell them one of those electric ones that goes in a circle. They're like, oh, my dad uses that for his beard. I'm like, yeah, I use it for my head. That the Royals mascot is actually an account for the team. Well, in math one day they can be, oh, That's really good. I like that. Speaking of mascots, I saw a mascot video earlier where this mascot, I don't remember which one, I think he was blue. And he was like dancing and being all weird and jiggling his belly by a security guard. And the song like Moves Like Jagger was on. And the security guard was like, back off. And then he just broke out. And like, this man was meant to dance. And then he just stoically went back to his job like nothing had happened. That was so cool. Hello, Rex. Slow death. So yeah, the things I think of. Sometimes, yeah, they just come to you on the spot. See, what do we got? 20 minutes. Ooh, I might be able to finish Vinny, because I just got this and then maybe a little shadowing. I turned that ice machine off, and he will not stay off. I don't understand what's going on. My ice machine is possessed. It's like, it is hot. I must make ice for you. At this point, my freezer is just going to bust open, and ice is going to be everywhere. I don't know what to do with him. I mean, I'm in an apartment. I could always call maintenance tomorrow if it doesn't keep doing it. Could be their problem. That's the nice thing about being in an apartment. Lawn care and fixing things. Not my problem. Or shoveling snow. Also not my problem. I just have to do basic things like fire alarm batteries and replacing light bulbs. Honestly. And another reason I live in an apartment is if I'm in a house alone, I'm fine until the sun goes down. And then if I'm alone in a house, once the sun sets, I have a major panic attack. Like, I don't understand why I'm panicking. I was fine all day. It doesn't matter if I have lights on, TV on, whatever. If I'm alone, and if there's somebody else with me, I'm fine. And it has to be a human. It can't just be a cat. I've tried that. Whereas if I'm in an apartment, yeah, I'm in here alone. The sun will set, but I'm not alone in the building. There's people above me and across the hall. So there are little sounds of like the water running or the occasional footstep or their cat having zoomies. I don't know, that just like keeps the panic attack away. I'm not alone. I have my own bubble, but I'm not alone. So I don't think I'll ever be able to purchase a home unless I get like stronger anxiety meds, but I don't really want to do that. My dose is working very well right now. Vinny! I'm just going to erase. There's a little bit of pencil right there. Let's see if we can get that off. That's the only thing bothering me. Let's go with this one so I have more control. There we go. Oh, we need whiskers. That's right. When I say in the class bad word, do you mean like, are you going to say a bad word in my chat? Or are you asking me what I do when my students say a bad word? Because if you start saying a bunch of bad words in my chat, I will assign a moderator to kick you out. And then I probably will try and make it so you can't come back to my live videos. What I do when my students say a bad word, I'll tell them, like, what if I went up to Miss Schmidt? Or Mr. Bob, or whoever the principal happens to be at the school I'm at. And I said that word in front of them. Do you think they'd just let me keep my job if I walked up and down the hallway saying those words? Well, no. Then what makes you think you can say that? Those are at home in private words. Those are not in a public setting word. Because if you want to have a job, you can't go around saying those words. So it's more of a teaching them, you know, school is a safe place to fail. So when they get to be an adult or a teenager and have a job, they don't have to experience that failure with worse consequences. You know, at school, they're just going to get disciplined. They're going to get reprimanded. They're going to get corrected. Whatever, depending on how they use the bad word. Yeah. But if they do it at work, they're going to get fired. Well, now they don't have a job. Maybe they don't have an income. They can't, like, keep their job or their home. Like, they can't get groceries. What if they have people or pets depending on them? I'm now going to put Vinny in the box of safety with the other cats. Vinny is done. So now I have 15 minutes left. I can, end the stream, or if you'd like, I can keep talking and working. I have Dexter I need to finish. Dexter is a backup cat that I keep for when I have spare time. And I can show you Dexter's picture. There's Dexter. He's the one of the cats that lives across the hall from me. He and his twin sister, Daisy. He's not picking his nose. I'm booping his nose. See? It was the very first time he let me, like, touch him or actually get near him. It took me, like, 3 years to get this boy to be okay with me. It's been a long process to build his trust. His sister only took, like, a year and a half. But Dexter. Oh, Dexter. Dexter was work. So I'm going to outline where it needs to go like this. It's not. There's a difference between you drop a rock on your foot and you let out that's like just instinctive. And I watched a documentary where they proved that cussing when you're experiencing something extreme like that actually helps your brain process because it gives you an outlet for something extreme happening. But just like cussing out the teacher or another student or saying, this place is F up or no, you don't need to do that in society if you're going to contribute and be a good person. So they need to learn that in school where it is the safe place to fail. Oh, a Cats of Social Media calendar. Interesting. I'm going to have more than 12, but if we get enough, we could do like a 365. I don't know how you print that. Unless we have a vote. I could have people vote on... Yes. You need to use it in the appropriate instead of just, as your everyday language. Yes. But making a calendar, the Cats of Social Media calendar. Interesting. I know Scruff, his people and their siblings made a calendar of Scruff and Evie and Cooper, the rat bag. I could maybe ask them how they did it. And then I could do where 50% goes towards Katyd's vet bills. And then 50% goes to, I could pick a shelter and we could donate the proceeds. I would like to do that. That would be really cool. Yeah, and I could maybe if it was a bigger calendar. Because I know with Cooper and Evie's, I wish I had theirs. I don't remember what I did with it. They had 1 month was Evie and it had 4 pictures of Evie. And these are only 4 by 6. They're the size of, this is a regular photograph that you could frame or put in a scrapbook. They're the same size. So they're not very big. So if the calendar was I'm going to lift you guys up, the size of Gregory's over there. It's bigger than my oven mitts. Then, oh, Friends of Bear. Yes. I've been wanting to do Dweeby from Friends of Bear. I would love to do Dweeby. I would love to adopt Dweeby. But I'm only allowed 2 cats. And Echo would not allow another man or any testosterone male thing in the apartment. And I don't think Katyd would like it if she was no longer the baby. Because she's the baby princess. And she revels in being the baby. But yeah, that would be cool to make a calendar. Because I should scan all of these and put them in a folder on my phone. I really should, instead of just keeping them in the box. Because, the box is a good place to put them. But if something, heaven forbid, should happen, I should have digital copies of them. I really should. Because the only, digital copies I have are what I've posted to social media as the finished product for people to see. I loved Dweeby. I loved it when he had his, lion shave. So he had, a really poofy head, really skinny body, poofy paws, and a poofy tail. It just like was so awkward. And then with his little fangs sticking out. It's like, oh, you're such a dork. An adorable little dork. And he's orange, so he's chaos. But now that his fur's growing back, he's looking more like a proper little man. That and Wonton. Oh my gosh, I love Wonton. I should do just a calendar of the cats of Friends of Bear, because she has enough. And we can even do past cats. Like, was it Shrimp and Grits were her cats? And Wonton has a brother somewhere. I should reach out to her. I know she's super busy. She doesn't really respond much. But maybe if I post some of these pictures, and maybe if we are able to successfully make a calendar of the cats of social media, I can prove to her, like, hey, I'm capable of this. And all the proceeds for that would go directly to her and her janky cats. That would be... Yes, I have actually messaged Crits for Cats because when Thick Skittles passed away, she was on Twitter. I don't think she was on Blue Sky. I'm on both. But when she passed away a few months ago, I responded that she had always been a good pusher of my crochet eggs I make, and it helped whenever I needed to make sales. If I had eggs in stock, she would really, like, promote my eggs. And I never asked her to do that. Skittles, just the cat herself, really liked the eggs. And the eggs were... So for a while on my Etsy account, it was called Skittles Eggs. So I responded to her that I'm like, pick a place. I'm going to donate a ton of eggs in Skittles' memory. And she picked Crits for Cats. So I sent them, I think, 10 eggs. I also sent... Because the Crits for Cats also bought 2 sushi rolls. So I'm like, okay, cool. So now I can print the shipping label at home. And then I added to that some snakes, some balls, and some eggs. I don't know, did they post? And so they always responded very quickly. Whoever runs Crits for Cats, I don't know their name, and I don't really know if... I don't want to say it and then be wrong or whatever. Oh, they did make a video. I didn't know that. I'll have to find it. Because they did message me saying that immediately all the kittens just, like, were hearing colors and tasting sounds and high off their butts. That they were going to make a post later, but then, I don't know, maybe I missed it. Or maybe they didn't tag me. But... You know... Some cats just don't want to live indoors, but they still want to live with people. There was a cat at one of my schools when I first started teaching. His name was BA for badass. And he'd been there for 10 years at that point. He'd actually invited his girlfriends to live under they're like those little trailer classrooms, portables. And he'd helped raise his sons and daughters. And... eventually, the engineer got him fixed, would take care of him, had a school camera, outside camera, security camera faced where he stayed, kept the kids from harassing him. But then when they remodeled our school so we wouldn't have portables anymore, because our school was, like, built in the late 50s, early 60s, we didn't even have AC. We had window units. That didn't really work. The workers and the principal said, this cat either disappears or we put it down. And I'm like, this cat's been here longer than even the principal. He should be tenured. He's keeping our mouse problem under control. What do you mean you're just going to kill him? So the engineer took him home, and BA never fully became a house cat, but he did accept the engineer's garage as a home base and his, like, yard and neighbor's yard as his territory. And he basically became a mouser for the neighborhood and slept in the garage at night. He would bring me pictures. Okay, now who are we talking about? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, Fish Tover and Mr. Lover are, like, they're roommates. They're like the iconic Knot Brothers roommates, if you catch my drift. I've done a picture of Mr. Fish Tover and Mr. Lover. I wonder where that went. I know what book it's in. I just don't know where my book is. It used to be in this box, but I moved it. I bet it's in I have all my art supplies in a toolbox over there. But I always told the kids, if they asked, why BA? For bad attitude. You know, because I can't go tell them around the cat's name is badass. But he was, I gave him, when I saw the cat, he was all white with an orange tail and a little bit of orange on his face. I've done a picture of him too. I'll have to show you guys. I gave him, you know, they say it's always the way to a man's heart is through snacks and food, through his stomach. And so I gave him snacks. And one time I even sat down to love on him. And he brought me over a mouse he had caught and dropped it on my skirt. And I said, thanks, honey, but you eat that. And I flicked it off. I'm like, I'm not going to touch. No, you eat that, sweetie. You earned that. You worked hard for that. But thank you for giving me your mouse. And I'm like, I'm not going to. Live, dead mouse. Well, not live. It was previously alive. Yes, I will have to leave in 5 minutes. So Dexter will get worked on more another day. I'm just doing the base coat because he is, I don't know. Yeah, I showed you guys. He is kind of a tannish gray tabby. So I'm going to have to do a lot of layering for him. So this will be the base. This looks like the base color underneath all his flecks of gray. He's got a bit of tan there. So I'm just doing a base layer. And the rest of him is white. He's got some pink down there with his mouth. He'll slowly but surely get done. And then I'll do one of his sister Daisy. I want to do Kated with her safety cone hat eventually too. But then I have to decide who, let's see, what do I have happening tomorrow? Tomorrow I have to take my bike to my dad's house before I have my first doctor's appointment. It's one you can't bike to. You shouldn't show up sweaty to that one. It would be disrespectful. So I'm going to take my bike to Dad's house. We're going to work on it for like an hour, free up his wheel, drive to the appointment, come home, eat a little lunch. And then the second appointment I have 2 doctor's appointments in one day. Bike to that one. That one's just a basic physical. They're probably going to put me on cholesterol medicine, though. Because in the notes with the blood work, it says, advise the patient to change their diet and to start implementing a exercise routine. I'm training for a half marathon and I don't drive. I drive like once a week. I bike everywhere and I'm running. Like, what more high exercise do you want me to do? And like, I can't afford to change my diet. I eat healthy enough, okay? I've been avoiding red meat since my last blood work when it was like on the verge. I only eat red meat like maybe once a month. Okay, I don't know. I'm not going to add vegetables. They make me throw up and they upset my stomach. So they're probably going to put me on a pill. Whatever. They're probably going to change the dose of my thyroid pill too. That would probably be more effective if I actually took it every day. Oh yeah, you can leave. I'm not holding you hostage, 007. If anybody needs to leave, you just go ahead and you leave. I understand. I'll miss you, but I understand. And if you don't have to leave, cool, you can hang out until I hang us up. I had to get a drink here. But I think, other than the doctor's appointments, and those I should be home by, if I bike to the second one, I should be home by 2:30, unless, heaven forbid, something traumatic happens at my physical. I can do a live one tomorrow. I might do Simon and Jolene at the window. Otherwise, I'll have to look to see who else has offered themselves up as models. I mean, I'm on some meds too. I've got I tell Kate it because she has to take a pill. I tell her, girls take pills. Otherwise, we'd be too crazy for the men of the world. And Echo just looks at her like, yes, sissy, take your pill. You are crazy. And she's like, okay, gulp. I don't tell her what her pill's actually for. Though she's probably overheard me talking about it a bunch but whatever. She never remembers her seizures. Yes, I do know that some of my things are more hereditary too. But, you know, we can only do with what we were born with, honestly. I mean, yes, we can do things to help. Diet, exercise, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, avoiding substances. But, that's okay. I mean, I always have the link up. I don't keep it private, my live stream. So you can always go to my live videos and rewatch if you wish. Otherwise, I do believe Thursday I can go live as well. Thursday, I'm doing a long bike ride with my dad in the morning since it's kind of hot midday. I kind of like convinced him to do like an 8 miles to the place we want to eat and then 8 miles back. He's like, that's a lot of miles, Sissy. I'm like, well, when I bike that way to go to school, it's a 14 miles and 14 back. So actually, I'm cutting a lot of miles off for you. Okay, if you say so. How do we get there? I'm like, I bike past it like twice a week when I... Okay. I'm going to pause there. Sorry if that slam was loud. Slide that marker back in. And I have to go feed Kated and give her her medicine and feed Echo. And I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, whatever it is for you. And if I will, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Otherwise, I will see you another day and have a fabulous time. Goodbye, everybody.